안녕하세요. Goedemiddag, goeiedag, good morning. Hello, my name is Tian and I'm 27 years old. I thought I would start my video off like that. Welcome back, or welcome for the first time, or welcome just in general to anyone watching this video. This, I think, will be my first official video that is planned and recorded with some sense of purpose. That is not my introduction, is not my apartment tour, or that was my apartment tour. So this will be my very first official video that has some sort of structure. And what I decided to do for this video specifically, or for this channel, how I wanted to start my channel, was just to do basically like story time. So I'm going to tell you stories, but sorry again. So I'm going to tell you stories about things that really honestly happened to me in Korea. These things are not made up. Maybe I might over dramatize them a bit, but I promise you they're completely true events that I had to suffer that I had to suffer through. Yes, they might be a bit dramatic, but they actually really did happen. How long these videos are going to be, I don't know. It depends on how dramatic I'm feeling that day. And it feels like I'm going to start rambling already. I'm not even at the story yet. So welcome back. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my story time. I hope you enjoy my story time. Let's get into it. So this is my Korean adventure story time when I arrived in Korea. So this was my first time in Korea. So the year was 2016, if I remember correctly. Yes, it was 2016. It was, I think, like either the last day of January or the 1st of February that I landed in Korea, and I landed in the afternoon. Very, 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 very excited about my new adventure in Korea. So flew from Johannesburg or Tambo International Airport, flew via Singapore Airlines to Singapore, where I had a layover there for about an hour or 2 hour layover. It was a very short layover. I can remember when I got the tickets, it's like, I want a short layover. I do not want to sit in an airport for 6, 7 hours. So I took that flight and got to Singapore. Was really amazing. The airline was fantastic. I would completely support them again if I have the money to do that. So got to Korea, and now I'm very excited. A lot of people are like, oh, weren't you scared? Weren't you nervous? I'm like, actually, no. During that time, I was extremely excited to be there. I wasn't never nervous. I wasn't scared. I mean, I didn't know anything at all. Barely knew any Korean. And the Korean that I did know, which was nothing, I was too embarrassed or too ashamed to actually use. But I did prepare beforehand. The recruitment agency. Oh, let me jump back. So I was going to Korea to teach English. So all of this happened through a recruitment agency that I used. So they've helped me a lot. I mean, I tried to do as much research as possible. So arriving in Korea, I didn't feel that lost because I did do my research. If ever you're going to a different country, do your research beforehand as much as possible. I mean, I watched videos, I did research. I mean, I asked people in any way, find as much information as possible before going. And that's what I did. So I knew once I stepped off the plane, went through customs, went through immigration, went through all those things, where I needed to go, or what I needed to look for actually. So I got all my baggage and things, and Ooh, sorry, I apologize. So I got all my bags, went through the doors now. So now I've got everything even cleared. Walked through the doors, and I knew what I needed to find. or what I was looking for, and that was for the to get a bus ticket. Because unfortunately, I landed in Incheon, and I wasn't. No, I'm not gonna say I wasn't lucky enough. I would say that I didn't. I never wanted to work in a big city, so I got placed. So I wasn't in Seoul, which was close to Incheon. I wasn't in Incheon itself, so which means I needed to take a bus from the airport to a certain location, and then I'll take the story from there. So I knew that I needed to get a bus ticket, of course, and they did tell me in an email from a recruitment agency that they tell me exactly the booth that I needed to go to. So I walked out with all my baggage, and you basically just walk straight, and then as you walk up and down the arrivals area, straight in front of you, there will be most of your booths. So as you walk out, will be your booths where you can do banking, where you can get SIM cards, where you can get help or information. That will all most of the things. I stand to be corrected, but this is now when I arrived in 2016. Most of the things will be on the opposite side. So if you're looking for taxis, if you're looking for SIM cards, if you're looking for to exchange money, if you're looking for bus tickets, that will basically be in front of you, or you just need to walk down to the right or down to the left, and you'll see all those booths there. And I found the bus one. I cannot remember what the exact name is, but it's bus tickets. So I was going to an amazing city called Daejeon. If my pronunciation is not 100% correct, please forgive me. But I was going to Daejeon. I was very excited, so I just went to the lady and I asked for a bus ticket to Daejeon. And then again, if I can remember correctly, for the 2 or 3 times that I did have to take the bus from Incheon to Daejeon, I think it is platform 9D. I think it's 9D. Is it 9D? I hope so. So I landed in the afternoon. I got my ticket, and then she said, "Well, the only seats available are for." Ooh, now I need to remember. I think it was because I had to wait. I had to wait at the airport for a while. So I think it was because I got there late. I think I landed around 2 or 3 o'clock. I bought my ticket, I think around 4, something like that. And then because I only arrived later in Daejeon, and we drove in the night, so I think my bus only left. Um, was it either 6 o'clock? Seven? No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't have been 6 o'clock. I think my bus only left at like 8 or 9 because it was late. It was really, 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 really late, and I was tired as oh after the whole day. But yeah, so it was an evening bus. It wasn't, and I had to wait. So now I'm in the airport. Thankfully, I got my ticket. I didn't really need to do anything else because the school was or is supposed to be responsible for helping you with your SIM card and getting things like that. So I didn't need anything else at the airport. So now all I basically had to do was wait. So with all my baggage and things, at least I knew it was winter because for those of you who live in my area of the world, of course, weather the seasons are swapped. So I went from a summery, sunny, hot South Africa to oh fuck, it's cold Korea. So because it's January, February, I mean you're still like in almost in the heart of winter. So it was snowing. Was it snowing? I think it was snowing. I could be wrong now. Because that was also the first time I experienced snow. Because it doesn't really snow in South Africa, and where it snows, not many people live there. And I'm from the city, so don't experience a lot of snow. So oh, Sorry. Anyway, so I'm getting off. I get off track. So as I was waiting, I walked outside, got hit with this amazing breath of fresh air. I'm a winter person through and through and through. I hate summer. So when I felt that, I think it was like -2 degrees or 0 degrees or -2 degrees. It was really cold. And as I walked outside, because I wanted to feel the weather, I needed to wait, so I could just. So I went outside. I felt the weather. I was like, oh, it's cold, but it was so refreshing. I was like, oh, I'm in Korea, and it was just an amazing feeling. And then things went a little bit downhill after that. Not too bad, but things went down a little bit after that because I went back inside, so now I had to wait. Do research again, do research, that's very important. So what was happening is the last time I ate anything, I was on the plane. So this was now reaching late afternoon, early evening. I was getting really, really hungry. So I walked up and down. I think I also had a bathroom session as well. Wasn't this one? No. Okay, well, I'm not going to tell the bathroom story because I cannot say that's now part of this story. But it's if you ever have to go to a bathroom with a lot of luggage and you don't have anyone to carry with, yeah, it's interesting. So now I was walking up and down, up and down the arrivals area because, like I said, if as you walk straight out in front of you would be all the booths, but you won't really find food things. Again, this is now how I remember it in 2016. So in front of you won't really find booths. At the back of you, down the right and down the left, is where you would find actually food things. Now, for some reason, I didn't walk as I now I'm walking straight out of the gates into the arrivals area. If I remember correctly, I never walked left. I never walked all the way up left, because I think idiotic because I think was there more food that time, but I didn't walk all the way up there. I just stayed more on the right hand side down. So I didn't really go up. I went down. The reason why I said down is because if you look at the exit numbers, I went down because I went into the higher exit number or the lower exit numbers. Depends on how you want to see it. But I went to I stayed in the area where I knew I had to be because I needed to. If you need to go to platform 9D for the bus to Daejeon, then I think the closest exit is either exit number 10 or gate 10 or whatever you want to call it, is 9 and 10. So I stayed in that area for safety's sake. So I didn't really go all the way back to like exit 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have no idea why. But I know I was getting hungry and it was getting to such a point where it felt like my blood sugar level was dropping, and I really just didn't feel that great. So I went on the hunt to find food. Of course, in that row, now I look back, you do have things like CU and is it the CU? I think, where you can buy different food and things and stuff to eat and snack and drink. And then you also find little cafes along the way as well. For some reason, because I didn't do enough research with regard to the food, and because I can be a little bit of a picky eater, I never I couldn't find food that I wanted to eat because I didn't know what they were. And me being some people call me a picky eater. I don't really think I'm a picky eater. I just know what I like and I don't like, which is not that bad. But so I don't like fish, and I know there are many things that have fish in it, or that has tuna in it, or that is wrapped in kim, or like in seaweed. So I didn't know what I can eat or couldn't eat because I didn't want to buy eat something. So anyway, so I went for the safest possible thing, and I found this cafe. And for some reason, I'm a moron. Oh, I think one of the reasons why I went for this choice is because I get car sick. I get car sick. So I didn't want to fill up on food or on bad food and then have to throw everything up if I get car sick on the bus. So motion sickness, yeah. But it has gotten better over the years, but I just wanted to play it safe. So I didn't want to get something too heavy, like let's say get a hamburger or something like that. So as I went through the little cafes or the CUs and things like that, I did buy something to drink. I think it was like a vitamin water. And then I think at a cafe, I can't remember what the cafe's name was, but I bought this small cup of fruit, which is that I think was really idiotic and it was extremely expensive. I can't even remember how much it was, but it was just like a cup of fruits. For those living in Korea, you would see them all over. It's literally like this plastic cup of fruits. Like there were grapes, sliced apple, and I can't remember what else. And there was tomato as well. As I don't like tomato, there was tomato in as well. So that's what I ate. That's what I ate. I can't remember what else I did on this trip. Anyway, this is getting way too long. So I can't remember what else I actually did in the airport waiting, but in the end I did go outside, waited outside for my bus. The lady that gave me my bus ticket, she was at least very nice, and she gave me a single seat. So the buses in Korea, or most of the buses I've taken in Korea, not all of them are like that, but especially the buses that you take, like luxury or VIP buses or buses that drive for a long extended period of time, usually have a section with two rows and then a single section on the right hand side. If I can remember, this is the bus that I took now, and luckily the woman didn't put me next to a random stranger. She put me on the right hand side, so I had my own seat, and yeah. So I waited now outside in the cold weather. At least if you go out exit 9 or 10, you go to platform 9D. I think there is like a little cubicle where you can go stand inside if it's too cold or too hot. But anyway, so I waited, got on the bus, put my things in the bus, got on the bus. So now I needed to really pay attention because although I'm going to Daejeon, I think the bus stops at three different places in Daejeon, and I need to make sure that I get off at the right one because the plan that I made for or the plan I made with the recruitment agency and the people they worked with is that they're going to pick me up at this specific location or at this specific bus stop. At this stage, I wasn't scared or nervous or scared or anything. I was still very excited, but also getting very tired as I've just flown 18, 19, 20 hours, and I've been waiting in an airport terminal for also quite a few hours, and I still had to go. The bus trip is about, I think, 2.5 hours from Incheon to Daejeon. So now I'm on the bus. Nothing interesting happened there. It was just an amazing bus. I mean, the buses, if ever you're in Korea and you have to take a bus from, let's say, Daejeon to Incheon or vice versa, the buses are fantastic. Really luxurious, fancy as buses. Anyway, so you can recline, kick out your feet. Anyway, there's a thing underneath that you can kick out so your feet can. Anyway, so as I was now starting to warm up because they make it really hot in there, the winter started to fog up, and I was trying to look out the window and see this new world. And oh my gosh, oh, Korea! But it is like 9, 10 o'clock at night, so you cannot really see much. So as we started driving, I started to drift off and fall asleep, and then wake up and then fall asleep as I was really tired. So I need to get off at Daejeon Government Complex. So as we approach our first exit, now I'm getting nervous because I do not want to get off at the wrong stop, as I don't think I have the woman's number. Did I have her number? No, I didn't think I didn't have the woman's number who was supposed to pick me up, which is just I think idiotic on everyone's side. But I didn't have a number. I think I have a, like email. Maybe I did have a number. I just didn't have it saved on my phone. But again, I'm not connected to any Wi-Fi of any kind of sort. So that was the one thing. The other thing is I would not know where to go as it is almost 10, 11, 12 at night, so most of the places are closed. Friend reminder, actually, they are not closed. Most of the places are open. But it was a Sunday. I landed the Sunday. So now we're getting closer. We did our first stop, and now I'm like sitting there. My ears are, I don't know, cocked up, ready to take in information. Again, I don't know the language. But at least many of the buses and train systems, they do give you the Korean word and they do give you them the English translation as well. And I think for the bus they did give the English translation. Um, yeah, so now I was just waiting. You do three stops. The second and the third are quite actually close to each other. And I think Daejeon Government Complex is your third stop. So if you're going to Daejeon from Incheon, it's your third stop that you do would be Daejeon Government Complex. If I am mistaken, I do apologize. I haven't done this in a while. So yeah, but I did get off at the right place. I think also the driver did help as well. I think he did also make sure that I knew that this was Daejeon Government Complex. And I'm seeing the time of this thing, and I'm sorry that it's going to be a longer video. But whatever, if you're enjoying the story, then you're enjoying the story. I'm enjoying revisiting and retelling the story so much. So where was I? So now I arrived at Daejeon Government Complex, and if you've ever gone on a journey like this, where you basically take up your whole life, move to a different country, and then plonk yourself down there, you would actually know that if certain things are not in place, it can become very scary. Especially, yeah, you don't know anyone or anything or any such thing. So now we arrived at Daejeon Government Complex, which I'm sorry, I cannot remember the Korean word. I think I'll just add in what the Korean. I'll try to get it written in Korean and then also the English translation, so you know kind of the sounds that you need to listen out for people that are going there. So and now I got off at Daejeon Government Complex, got all my bags. Oh, looking back now, I can still see everything in my head. Knowing Daejeon Government Complex now, or where the bus stop is, I know everything. I know where we were. But again, it's late at night. I have no idea where I'm supposed to go. They drop us off. It's Sunday. It's almost midnight. So most of the places are actually closing up or are already closed, except for a few places here and there. So we got off, got our bags. Now there's quite a number of people that got off there. And I was like, okay, well, there will at least be other people. I won't be alone. But it felt like within seconds, the people just went into their different directions. There were taxis taking them somewhere. Other people just walked. Other people got picked up. Literally, I was standing there and everybody just dispersed and disappeared into the night, and I was standing there alone. Now, if you do get dropped off, I think in many places in Korea where a bus drops you off, there will most likely be at some corner there will be a congregation of taxis ready to make money from the people that just got off the bus. It sounds worse than it is, but yes. I now know that. I didn't know that before, or you can see the tax on the beginning. I didn't know Hans. I was like, oh no. And this is the spot where my recruiter or where the school representative or whatever needs to pick me up is at this stop. So now I see there are a lot of cars, or quite a few cars. Where I was standing now, if I'm standing here, the bus dropped me off here. At the back, I think it's a twosome place. Is the cafe's name? I think it's a twosome place. I'm not sure now. I can't remember. But it was a cafe that's behind me. But it was dark. It was dark, and across from me, it's which I now know is a park. And then on my right hand side was usually where the taxis came. So now I'm standing there with all my luggage. I'm like, oh fuck. What if this is all a scam? What do I do now? 'Cause I mean, I do have money on me if anything goes wrong. but I do know who I don't know who to call. I don't know what to do. I don't know anything. This was the first time that fear started to set in, and I was like, "Oh fuck, what have I done? I'm not ready for this. What if this person doesn't show up? What if I'm at the wrong stop? What if I got off at the wrong stop?" Luckily, as panic and dread started to set in, I just heard someone calling Tian, Tian, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then I can't remember if she came from the right or the left hand side, but then all of a sudden she stopped in front of me, windows down, and she's like, "Are you Tian?" And I'm like, "Yes, yes, I am." And then she introduced herself. I don't know if I should say her name. I'm not exactly sure what the rules are, but then she introduced herself and said, "Oh, I'm here to pick you up. We've been talking on via email. I also do have her on Facebook as well. Did we speak on Facebook? Anyway, so we were talking. I'm like, oh, thank goodness. I think she turns the car around, stops, and then she takes her. And then put my luggage in the car, and then I got in the car. Did I get in the back seat or in the front seat? No, I can't remember. So you need to understand that coming from South Africa, like I said, I did a lot of research. So I've read, I've heard, I've seen the horror stories that happen to people that go to any country to teach English or to go on this thing, on this program where you go, a random person meets you, and then your life will carry on from there. So I know what can possibly go wrong. So that's the one thing. So I think naturally most people will be paranoid. But second thing is, I come from South Africa. Crime is a big, 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 big issue here. So we already, and you can speak and ask any South African, we are hardwired to be careful, to be paranoid, to be ready, to expect that something bad is going to happen, where you're going to get mugged or attacked or something like that. It's bad. It's really, 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 really bad. The mindset that we have to be careful, be vigilant. I mean, in society, we do not need to live like that, but unfortunately, that is the case in South Africa. So now I'm getting into this woman's car. Like I said, I know the horror stories. I come from South Africa where we do have a very paranoid, very vigilant mindset. And then also, I love horror movies and horror stories and horror shows. So that paranoia did not help at all. And I sometimes have a very vivid imagination. So now we're driving. But I think the funniest thing of this whole thing is when I got in the car, the most unexpected thing was this woman was listening to Hillsong. And I was like, what? Okay. So for those of you who don't know, Hillsong is a Christian band that I think their main church is in Australia. I think they're Australian-based church, and the band is Australian. Most of the music is Australian. They then just reach out to other. But I listened to Hillsong when I was in high school, and then after that, maybe if I went to church or somewhere, maybe I would hear them then. But I haven't heard of them in such a long time. So now I get in the car and Hillsong is playing. I'm like, this is getting stranger and weirder by the moment. And then I asked her, "Is this your song?" And she's yes. And then we started talking about faith, so or God or Christianity or something like that. And then we just had random conversation. I can't really remember what the main conversation was about, but I did ask her about that just to confirm that it is a Hillsong that I'm listening to. But that's one of the ways I found out how big the Christian religion has spread in Korea. But yeah, that was just for me. That was just it kind of made me. It was a very weird moment. It was like, you're Korean. Why are you listening to Hillsong? That sounds very close-minded or narrow-minded. It's just anything that can possibly come off of her radio that is Western. Hillsong was not what I was expecting. Anyway, so but I didn't mind. I'm not. I didn't have a problem with that at all. I didn't have a problem with what her religion is or what she believed. It was just very weird. So now we're driving. We're driving to. I think we drove through Yusong. Yusong Spa is very famous for the foot spa, and there's a lot of history that goes back into the foot spa and the spa and what it was before. But I was lucky enough to not go or live or work in the main area of Daejeon. No, 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 no. I got lucky enough to work in a new developing area called Wanshenengdong. My pronunciation is incorrect, but yes, Wanshenengdong, Yusonggu. So it's a developing area. Many times when I speak to Koreans, they didn't know where it was, especially if they were not from Daejeon or lived in Yusong. If they lived in Yusong, then they would know that Wanshenengdong um, is a developing area. Close to Wanshenengdong is Duandong. So many times when people ask me um, where I'm from, if I say Wanshenengdong, they're like, "What? Where's that?" And then if I tell them no, it's close to Duandong, then I'm like, oh, okay, they get the general idea. So I was in a new developing area, which means I wasn't near City Hall or I wasn't in Yusong, which was a famous district area. So as we're driving more, I see that the city life is becoming smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And there are less and less people around, there are less and less buildings around. It's becoming very, 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 very quiet. As you can see now, nothing bad happened as I am sitting here 2016, about 3 years later, and I'm still alive. So nothing bad happened. It was just I just like Stangstorm because it was very dramatic. So we drove, we turned down into which was my main street. That is actually kind of one of the main streets for that area is actually that street because that goes straight into um oh my gosh, it's a university. There's a if you go straight down. Also, if I said the university name, people would usually also know about the university as well. So now we went down this road, and because it's a developing area, that road mainly it has a few. It had one 7-Eleven at that time. No, two. One 7-Eleven and one CU. One or two little restaurants, and then shops which aren't open because it's Sunday night and it's already almost midnight. So each other, and then so it's quiet. Quiet, dead quiet, dead, 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 dead quiet. There's nothing, there's no one. If you look straight down the road, it's literally nothing is going on in that entire road. It has changed, but when I arrived there, it was very quiet. So it turned on, I'm already like, this is getting spooky and creepy because it does have that little ghost town next feel to it. So you turn onto this road. I'm like, this is getting a little creepy. This is getting spooky. My word. So of course, like I said, I'm from South Africa. I love horror. I know the horror stories. Paranoia sets in. And I just started to think like, oh my word, what's going to happen? Is this happening? As dramatic as that sound and as cliched as that sound, I swear to you, one day I will tell you the story of what happened to me when I was in high school, um, surrounding the whole crime issue in South Africa and why one of my main reasons for going back to Korea is the feeling of being safe. So that's more on a serious note. I will one day tell you that story of why I feel that way. So even though it is cliche, even though it is dramatic, what I've experienced in my life, that thought popped into my head like, oh my gosh, what if this is a scam? What if I'm going to die? What if? I'm just like, I'm starting to freak out a little bit because as we're driving down this creepy road, because it is a creepy road. I mean, I lived there for 2 years and just know how to. So as you drive down there and you need to turn right because I was basically next to a school, but you need to turn right at the 7-Eleven, best 7-Eleven ever. You need to turn right, and as you go the first road you take left. So it's just like ta ta, and then my building was there. But because this is a developing area, on my right hand side was I don't know if they were still building something or no, there was a lot of garbage because I can think of the next day I went to look to see what's happening because it was the like it was almost like garbage and stuff. So it looked like garbage hill in collection of garbage, and then was the school which I didn't know. So that looked kind of creepy. It's 11, 12 o'clock at night, seeing that we're going into these smaller side streets. Then as soon as you turn left, it was this open plot, and then around are these buildings or apartments that are being built. So it's 11, 12. I have no idea where I am. I'm not connected to any Wi-Fi. I don't have a SIM card yet. I'm with this random person. I have no idea who she is except for the few email encounters. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this can go really badly. Let's hope it doesn't go bad. But I'm getting so nervous about this because I don't know what's going to happen next because the area looked dodge as fuck. Really, it was dodgy. Really, really dodgy. During the day, it would look fine. It would just look like a developing area, which of course it was. But during the night, for a foreigner alone, even though, yeah, I'm not gonna say that. That sounds like that. Oh wow, this video is getting very long. So sorry for the very very long video. I'll cut it short. Like I said, I just enjoy telling my stories. So now we stop at this apartment, and then with all the garbage and the open places and things, I'm like, really, what's going to happen? It's not like I can run away, so I'm just like, well, man the fuck up and get your stuff and let's go. So I got my stuff. Um, went into the apartment. The apartment also looks a little bit creepy because it is a very small apartment. I think it only has 3 floors. I'm not sure about the. I think the second or third floor there are bigger apartments, but I had a very small apartment, and I was on the first floor. Yeah, you just went up one. So we went up. Then it's this dark hallway, and the light only goes on with through like motion sensor. So when you walk through, the light pops on, which again that gives it a very creepy vibe. Got to my apartment, went inside. It was an empty, it was not an empty apartment. It was furnished and all that. Yeah, and then everything in the end was fine. And like I said, it's very, very, very dramatic. But that was my first experience arriving in Korea. So I got into my apartment, got all the details from my school representative or recruiter person. She was really, really nice, really amazing. So everything worked out fine. It was just, I just like telling that story because it was really intense and dramatic for me at that moment to go through all these feelings and paranoia. And for me, it has a lot to do with not only being a foreigner in the country for the first time, but also being South African, being who I am. That really makes the story funny for me because it just shows me how your life experiences in the end creates, I mean, what you feel and what you sense and what you experience. Yeah. So I'm gonna stop it there because the video is extremely long. Thank you for the people who have watched the entire video. I'll try to keep my next video shorter, but I'll try to keep uploading videos about my time and things and experiences in Korea because I did have, like I said before, some interesting, weird, and unique experiences. But I do all hope you have a wonderful day, or evening, or night, or morning. So goodbye, tot ziens. See you next time. Have a beautiful day.